Justice.
Good afternoon,
Yes.
Justice.
Have you been, before you joined the government, have you been in the private practice of law?
I had some experience in handling family cases. So it's not completely zero, but I would say that these are cases which were elevated up to the Supreme Court.
I was hoping that you may have joined us in the rough and tumble of private practice. That would be a good experience before you become a judge. Now, Justice Munoz Palma, Justice Amor Herrera had the ambition to become presiding justice, as the Chief Justice of the Supreme Court. If you're appointed Chief Justice of the Supreme Court, you will be the First Lady Justice of the Supreme Court. Do you realize that?
It will be a great honor, but at the same time, it will put a lot of pressure on me to be able to prove that I'm worthy of the position.
So if you are appointed Chief Justice of the Supreme Court, what would be your judicial philosophy? Would it be different from your judicial philosophy as a mere Associate Justice of the Supreme Court?
I will be guided by the principles that the former Chief Justices of the Court have pursued all along, and that is dedication and adherence to judicial independence, a judiciary that is efficient, competent, that is able to earn the trust and confidence of our people, and which is humane and compassionate.
So what is your concept of justice?
Justice is giving everyone his due under the law.
Is it any different from the definition of social justice by Chief Justice Laurel?
It's different in a sense because social justice is limited in concept. It pertains only to the state being able to address the needs and the needs and the demands of the less privileged members of our society, and the needs of the greater number of our population, whereas justice in a broad sense may not have that social implication, but it may refer only to, say, a particular individual who is before the court.
You have any short definition of your judicial philosophy? You have made it quite long. You see, when you enter the portals of the Supreme Court of the United States, you will find emblazoned there the words equality under law. In the Supreme Court, what do we have? Batas, bayan. In your case, what do you have? Well, in the Integrated Bar of the Philippines has this to say: no master but law, no guide but conscience, no aim but justice. In short, what is your judicial philosophy?
A judiciary that is dedicated to the rule of law.
So, on what basis do we write our decisions? On the basis of law, of course. The law applied to the facts. So, if the law does not abide by your conscience, will you follow the law?
Yes, Justice, definitely.
If the law does not agree with your concept of justice, will you follow the law?
Of course, Justice, the law must be followed regardless of our personal opinion.
What will you do if the law is not in accord with your conscience, or if the law is not violates your concept of justice? What do you do?
Should still follow the law because the law is the expression of the will of the majority of our people expressed through their representatives in Congress. And I cannot impose on the majority my own personal conception of what is just or what is unjust. And that is the cornerstone of an ordered society. We cannot go by our own personal biases and opinion, especially so if you are a judge. You have to obey the law because otherwise there will be chaos and instability in our constitutional system.
Madam Justice, considering the unmitigated proliferation of deaths caused by violence of judges, journalists, and other private individuals, are you in favor of the revival of the death penalty law?
Personally, no. I'm not in favor of reviving the death penalty law or allowing its imposition.
So you do not believe that the death penalty law is a deterrent to the commission of such crimes as murder, parricide, rape, and kidnapping?
From what I see from the cases that go up to the court, it seems that it has not been a deterrent. The problem is the environment that these criminals find themselves in. Very often, it's not the law that is. It is not the law which will make them avoid crimes or heinous crimes. Sometimes they are forced by the environment where they live. And so I think I go for restorative justice.
Will you not change your mind if I tell you that quite recently the Federal Supreme Court of the United States upheld the constitutionality of the death penalty? This in spite of the opposition of American bishops to the imposition of the penalty of death. But 4 Catholics in the court voted in favor of the imposition of the penalty of death.
If it is provided for by law, I would do the same thing, Your Honor.
What the clamor now is whether you agree to revive the death penalty law.
That is not the only solution to the problem. I think there is a lot of reform that we should do in our society to be able to to eliminate heinous crimes or lessen the commission of heinous crimes. But it will really take so much for the state to be able to do that, considering the state of our nation today. We have there are unemployed. There are people who are poor, but we cannot eliminate this. But I think we should focus our attention on alleviating the plight of the poor. You know, crimes are committed because sometimes there are a lot of rapes committed by fathers or uncles or brothers, because they live in a very small place, and I think just imposing death penalty without improving the lives of the poor will not achieve the purpose of minimizing the commission of heinous crimes.
As a Chief Justice, or even as an Associate Justice, you should have your ears to the ground and watch out for matters which might come up to the Supreme Court for consideration and deliberation and judgment. Now, Congress is starting deliberations on the RH bill. Whatever you say here will not bind you if you become the Chief Justice. As Chief Justice of the Supreme Court, it is only proper that you have your ears to the ground, so to speak. The issue here in the foremost issue here in the RH bill is whether it violates the constitutional provision which holds that the state should protect the life of the unborn from the moment of conception. Now, question is, does life begin at the implantation of the fertilized ovum in the mother's womb? So what are your thoughts on this matter?
I think the crucial word there is conception. And